Hello, everyone. Welcome back into another Aromatalk. We have a very special guest today. People know him as King of the Gourmand Fragrances. He's a very well-known perfumer, and I'm so happy, and it's a pleasure and to have you here, Mr. Olivier Cresp. Olivier, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Ahmed. It's really a great pleasure to be with you, and hello to everybody. I love to share my passion with you, and indeed, my life in perfumery started when I was working on Angel, and it's true, I opened a new door, a new territory. It's the gourmand fragrances, as you are saying, Ahmed.
That's right. Yeah, I mean, I think if I'm not mistaken, you've been doing this for the past 35 years of your life. Is that right? As a perfumer.
Well, Angel was created in 1990, launched on the market in 92. But I started my career at the age of 18, so I have more or less 50 years in that industry. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm sure. I know, like, when I also look at the portfolio that you've created on, let's say, a website of Fragrantika's list of fragrances that you've created, it's just so many, and it goes back to a long time ago. So, but I think with the gourmand notes and fragrances, there was something that I think you've maybe started that movement a little bit
that's right. And it's true. I think I have more than 440 fragrances on the market, which are doing well. Yes. Yeah. And I'm always looking after the future. I don't want to go back, to the past. And you will see on the market this year and next year some new launches, some new international launches.
And then, do you know, like, on average, how many fragrances you create every year?
I don't know. I'm working maybe on 30 to 40 projects every year. It's in a row, something like that. So it's not one year. It's almost a year and a half or 2 years. Sometimes on 3 years. It's a kind of rolling, you see. Sometimes it's a bit even more. I enjoy it so much, so I don't count.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. What I actually forgot to mention is that Olivier Cresp, he is also a perfumer. I think you've worked with so many brands, and you create a lot of fragrances for different brands. But also, he's the founder, partner of Akro Fragrances, and a perfumer, of course, which Akro Fragrance, I think in the past 2 years, has been one of the trending fragrance brands out there. Like, even for us, I think this year Bake has been doing amazing. People love that fragrance. And then I think there's one that I love myself, and I think I'm gonna start wearing it more, pushing it more, is the Rise. Rise has been a very beautiful fragrance. Again, I think Awake is one of the best coffee fragrances out there too.
Yeah, in fact, what is interesting, within the 13 fragrances, we can respond to anybody. As soon as the consumers are smelling our fragrances, for sure they're going to like one of them. You see, we have a beautiful musk, which is Smile. We have some gourmand fragrances. We have some aromatic. We have some woody ingredients. So everybody is going to find his fragrance and being really happy of what he smelled.
Yeah, I mean, we gotta definitely dive into the Akro fragrances a little bit more. But I just want to make sure the audience know really, what you've created so far. So let's say if you want to pick top 3 fragrances, not from Akro, from the other brands that you've created.
Well, I would say definitely Light Blue. I made it in 2001 on the market. It's probably number 3 on the international market. It's an iconic fragrance. It's really well appreciated by anybody in the world. And I have to say, it's a fragrance that when the weather is a bit warm, I'm using it. I love it. I love the freshness. I love the fizziness, I think it's a trend also. Then also the Devotion, the new Devotion. Also Dolce Gabbana. It was launched on the market last year. It's a beautiful fragrance. It's a kind of edible fragrance. So with 2 fragrances, now we can mention also Angel, but we can mention other fragrances such as Black Opium. I'm the co-author of the fragrance. I'm not the creator.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, like, the list is too long that we can go down. There's so many great fragrances out there. So let's go now back to Akro.
Okay.
So how did you guys start Akro? When did it start?
So in fact, we wanted with Anaïs, my daughter, to create, it was like 10 years ago even 15 years ago, we wanted to start our own company, but we were not ready. First of all, Anaïs, she was living in England. I was working intensely with Firmenich, and we said, okay, we will meet again, we will get that idea we keep it, but before we have to find the right concept. And it was in 2017, Anaïs, she called me and she said, Dad, I found a fantastic concept. I said, what it is? And she said, something based on addictions. I said, wow, it's interesting. She said to me, are you capable? You will be really capable of creating some addictions. And I said, addictions to, to chocolate, to...
coffee.
Yeah,
juice,
coffee, coffee, yes, of course. But addictions to gambling, addictions to work, it's gonna to be impossible.
Yeah.
And she said, okay, let's go for it, So she said also something. We're going to launch 6 fragrances at the beginning, but I want 6 angels, 6 successes. And suddenly I was feeling lots of pressure on my shoulders. It's a true story,
Yeah.
We went on with the 6 fragrances, and we started with haze, which is aromatic. Then we had the smoke, that was the second one. It's also aromatic, unisex. My style is really minimalist. I'm using the few ingredients, the best ingredients of the world with the best technologies. And as well, I like to work on a figurative approach. What is figurative? Okay, it's the contrary of abstract. I give you an example. The coffee. Awake is a beautiful coffee. 9 people out of 10 are going to say it smells coffee. They're not going to say it smells the sea or something else. I think I'm the only one in the world doing that, having that approach. They link the fragrance to their personal memories.
Yeah.
That is key.
No, for sure. And you know what I think with Awake especially, whatever I spray it in the morning, I feel like I don't need to drink coffee anymore. It just wakes you up. It gives you that feeling of it. And if you don't drink coffee, but you want to have to get the closest experience to it, this is definitely a fragrance that you should try.
So then afterwards, after the coffee Awake, so we have dark is chocolate. So then we have 2 flowery fragrances with malt and night, you see. And then I created the ink, which is special fragrance for tattoos. Then afterwards, I've made Bake, then Rise, then it was East. We have some newcomers on the market, Infuse, which is a tea. Then Smile came on the market, was in June, I think, and most recently, September the 6th, everywhere in the world, we are launching Glow, and I can tell you, Glow is really well accepted by everybody.
That's right. Tell us a little bit about Glow. Like, what are the ingredients? How did you come up with it? How does this fragrance, or even perfume concept of it?
Yes. When we were looking at our portfolio within the range, we came to the conclusion that we were missing one ambery oriental fragrance, very warm.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, we have to launch something also for the evenings, for the parties, for the event, you see. A Glow is an amazing fragrance. First of all, it's a short formula. So everybody is going to see the same facets. I don't want to make complicated fragrances. And I can tell you, to make simple things, it's quite complicated. But the conclusion is short formula, best ingredients. You're going to see the fragrance when you spray it on yourself is powdery. It smells vanilla, it smells tonka beans, it smells bergamot on top, best ingredients, bergamot from Italy. But what is amazing, it's the black pepper with labdanum and incense. Short formula, very diffusive, very elegant. And after Beck, which is our hero fragrance, we come up on the market with Glow, and Glow is going to compete for sure with Beck.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I feel like East was a little bit oriental as well, a little bit more complex.
Yeah, I wasn't mentioning East. Yeah, East was launched also last year in December in England, and since January. Also, we wanted to have also in our portfolio, and that was missing. Wanted a beautiful wood. So, and the difference we are using the best qualities of wood, the best ingredients, best vanilla, best leather, best raspberry, in order to have a fragrance which is very diffusive with East. But I have to tell you, I'm very proud of having made East. It's also really well accepted. It's a very diffusive fragrance, very long lasting. In this one, in Glow, you have also a hint of rose and a hint of peony. So the combination between the powders and the peony petals is gorgeous.
Gorgeous. Yeah, it's beautiful. And I think, it's been, I've sprayed it here for last 2 hours, and you can still feel how strong and powerful this fragrance is. So
it's interesting because it's an extrait. Perfume.
Exactly.
So the concentration is really high, and you have the longevity 2 days.
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh, for sure. I think on your clothes,
Yeah.
probably lasts for a week. And this is your first gold bottle, is that right?
It is.
First gold
it is,
bottle in the
it is.
collection.
We had
Yeah.
before a black one. It's East. It's also high dosage for East. It's an extreme, and we have East on one side. We have low on the other side. We have the range.
I think it's one of the top 3 fragrances in the line.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Super likable.
Totally
Yeah.
convinced.
So let's go to the question.
Okay.
You ready?
Okay, Ahmed.
First question. So
Yes.
you've been known to push the boundaries. So what is the most controversial scent you ever created, and why did you think it was necessary?
Oh, well, it's true. I'm daring. I don't want to follow the market. Probably Angel.
So you did.
Was a little bit like 30 years ago, a kind of a niche. Indie fragrance. So I think I went far. I was a little bit waking up the market.
That's right. No, you're right. Now that I'm actually thinking about it, there was no concept of niche really.
No.
There was nothing like that. And maybe Angel was one of the first complex fragrances that was it Angel for women, or you also did the one for men?
No, I did only the feminine version, but it was clever because at the beginning, like in the States, we don't want to be in 2,000 doors. We want to be in 50 doors. We want to be a number one, and they. It was their goal, and I think it was quite clever to do this.
Actually, maybe I mentioned this statement a couple of times ago. I always said maybe Tom Ford started doing the niche and pushing the boundaries, but now that I think about it, it was really you. So I take it back, guys.
But Ahmed, it's interesting what you are saying, because I remember for Tom Ford, I created also a fragrance which is still doing well on the market, still alive. It's a Noir de Noir. Noir de Noir.
That's right.
And Noir de Noir.
The black bottle.
Yeah. It's a rich fragrance. It's always number 2, number 3 within the range. Which is
I think it's Oud Wood and Noir de Noir is probably the 2 that are still the best sellers after all these years. Okay, so next one. So if you could use only 3 ingredients for the rest of your career, what would it be? And why?
It's because I'm born in Cannes, but I was raised in Grasse. I love the rose fields. I love the jasmine. So necessary in order to get richness and femininity, I will definitely keep rose, jasmine, and patchouli.
Patchouli, perfect. Is there a difference between the roses from different regions?
Oh, yes.
There's what's the best quality of rose ingredients when you get it?
Because I'm Grassois, so I would say the one of Grasse. But I have to tell you also in the south of India, in Kerala and Tamil Nadu, you have some beautiful roses, and beautiful jasmine sambac as well.
Actually, I have a question that maybe a lot of people ask online all the time. Let's say for especially fragrances that are 20, 30 years old, they start producing it and then the fragrances smell a certain way, have a certain scent, but then maybe after 10 years, there's a reformulation, something happens to it, and it doesn't smell the same. And I always tell customers or people that because maybe they can't find the same ingredients anymore, so that small change, maybe everything is the same, but maybe these roses come from somewhere else that make that change and it doesn't smell the same. That's true. That
so in fact, after years, like if you take Angel or you take other iconic fragrances, take Chanel 5 as well. Over the years, the perfumers, they have to modify, to rebalance the formulas because sometimes we are banning, the safety is banning some ingredients such as the animalic part, sometimes the musk. The thing is, they withdraw these ingredients, but you know what they do? They are bringing more quality by adding rose and adding jasmine. So it's just repairing by using other good qualities.
So in the battle of niche versus mainstream fragrances, where does Akro stand and why?
Akro is really high in my mind. You see, we started in the niche. We are assuming our difference. We have a great expectation on Akro. For Akro, among 4,000 brands in the world, we want with Anaïs and Thibaut to be maybe in the 20 best fragrances. And as well, we don't want to be on the fine fragrance fields. We want to be still in the niche market, but we want to add every time more values, more quality, more richness to our brand, to our fragrances.
And niche, definitely niche quality, but also what I love about Akro, the prices are super reachable.
The thing is, because I'm working for DSM Firme Niche and I'm a master perfumer, so I have, let's say, special prices. So my cost price are really high in the fragrances, very, very high. So I don't look at the prices. I just look at quality. That makes the difference. And strengths.
That's right. So with the rise of fragrance dupes, the copies that are out there, how do you feel about your creations being replicated?
I would say in English, you say the ransom of the glory, something like that.
Yeah.
That's something you have to accept, to admit. And if I do some creations and then some people, they do some knockoff, so that means
it's good.
It's good.
That's good feedback.
Yes. Yeah.
But also what's concerning sometimes is that the quality of ingredients and materials they use in it is probably not good.
No.
Maybe it's not good for your skin. You really have to be careful when you buy this.
Sure. I mean, price is going to guide you. And first of all. Secondly, when people, the ending customers, when they smell our fragrances, they feel the quality.
You know, you don't need to have 300 bottles of cheap ones. No. It's better to have 10 good quality. Sure. You pay them, that money, but you know what it is. You know?
With our mentality, we don't want to cheat with anybody. We are on the market for good, and we don't want to disappoint the ending clients.
If Giorgio Armani were to design a fragrance,
yes,
what would you suggest to him, knowing his styles, knowing his line?
First of all, we go through L'Oréal, and L'Oréal is going to present him a few ideas, and then he is going to pick them up, and he's the one to endorse his fragrances. Well, I will let him, of course, selecting. I don't need to convince him because he has strong character. So, of course, I will give him a good quality. It could be florals, it could be woody fragrances, but that's him. It's an example with Giorgio Armani is the one who was selecting the fragrances himself.
So, what's one note that you wanted to use in a fragrance but thought maybe it's too controversial to be in the market or not get accepted?
Well, I would say it's too much shocking. I will never work on cocaine, for example, on drugs. I will never, because it's going to shock maybe the consumers. Otherwise, I know we don't have any limit.
Which I think there are a couple of fragrances out there that with the name of that.
And you know, it's also bases or some molecules blended. I mean, are not going to please the market.
So, going back to Akro now.
Yes.
So where do you see Akro fragrances in the next decade, especially with fragrances that you've created this year with Bake, which is trending, which Glow, I think, which is going to be one of the top fragrances.
Well, next year we will have again 2 new fragrances, reaching 2 new concepts. Of course, I cannot talk about those 2 fragrances, but I can tell you I will see Akro going in the direction of the luxury, even more values. Probably, as I said, we want to target the brand and being among the 20 best fragrances. So that means we have to be strong in North America.
So if this was your last fragrance ever, what would you want Glow to say about your legacy in perfumery?
Well, Glow is really special in my heart. First of all, I wish to continue in the industry for many, many years because I still I have the passion with me. But if it would be my last fragrance, I would say you have classic fragrance that can become an iconic. And I extremely pleased with this fragrance because it's a chic, beautiful, it's a posh fragrance. But first of all, let's go to next year and you will see also maybe the 2 new fragrances can complicate also the ranking.
Yeah, well, we can't wait. We can't wait for next year for those to come out. So, Olivier, thank you again for joining here and being in the podcast. I'm sure this is going to be informative to all the audience, everyone that's sitting here, getting to know you and also listening about the stories and everything about Akro fragrances. So before we go, since we had a very special guest, we got to do a special giveaway as well. So for this podcast, make sure first of all to follow us, hit the subscribe channel, and also make sure that you go on Akro fragrances on Instagram. I think you guys are on TikTok as well. LinkedIn. Give them a follow as well. We put the links down below. And in order to enter this giveaway, make sure that you leave a comment down below, like this video, and tell us which Akro fragrance is your favorite. And then we will pick 30 winners and we will send you a full Akro discovery set and a $20 gift card. So thank you again. Good luck to you guys and see you soon.
Thank you, Ahmed.
Thank you. Yeah,
thank you.
Sure, of course.
Real pleasure. And thank you to everybody.
Take
Cheers.
care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.